Hi everyone, it's Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com. With wedding season just around the corner, I wanted to show you how to make a large amount of cold process soap at one time in case any of your friends and family would like party favors, or if you want to add party favors to your small business. And if you're curious about packaging ideas, I have some for you, so stay tuned at the end for that, plus a downloadable. To create a large amount of soap very easily, we're going to be using the Brambleberry 18 Bar Birchwood Mold, which, when cut down to size, can make up to 54 bars of adorable, perfectly shaped party favor soap. This is a beginner recipe because it uses one color and one fragrance. And if you are a small business and someone comes to you and says, I would like soap to match this theme, this color, this season, you can totally change up the colors and the fragrances to make this work for so many different party ideas. All right, we're going to get started. If you need to learn how to make soap from scratch, head back to some of the first episodes on this channel and you can learn how to make soap from scratch. Right now, we're just going to be using a very basic recipe, but first things first, I'm going to suit up for safety. For this particular recipe, since it's all one color, all one fragrance, and I know that the Clover and Aloe fragrance from Brambleberry acts so nicely, smells so good too, I can actually add everything to my oils. And for this particular batch, I made a very cost-effective formula. I did coconut oil, palm oil, and rice bran oil. Rice bran is really great because it creates a moisturizing conditioning bar, and it's a little more cost-effective than, say, olive oil is. Then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the dark green mica. Now remember, what you see is what you get once you get light trace. So I'm just going to blend this in really quick, make sure that my green is fully mixed in. All the bubbles go. So my color is fully mixed in, my fragrance is fully mixed in, and now I'm ready to add my lye water that has sodium lactate in it already. And the sodium lactate is totally optional, but it will help your bars come out more cleanly and easily and make the bars more shiny. I also know that my entire mold is put together. You don't want to embark on this phase until your mold is fully put together and all the dividers are put together. Okay, here we go. About emulsification. It's beautiful. And again, adding your fragrance to the batch before you hit trace is really only if you know exactly what that fragrance oil is going to do in cold process soap. The last thing you want to do is do this with a fragrance you are not familiar with and end up with a batch of soap on a stick or soap that separates or some sort of issue. I'm going to add just a little bit more color because really with this particular color, what you see is what you get. And this is not quite the green that I want. So we're going big. Now, a lot of times if you've watched my videos before, you notice that I disperse my mica in a little bit of oil first. That's usually because I want to make sure there's no clumps and I want to make sure I have enough time to work with the entire recipe. In this case, I can see some clumps, but I'm not worried because I know this fragrance is such a superstar performer that I have time to hit trace and really make sure all that color is blended up. Plus, if you remember the batch of soap that I showed you earlier, it's got nice, beautiful peaks. So I'm actually going for a thicker trace here anyways. This is a pretty big batch and I want to make sure that we have full mixing down at the bottom. So I'm just going to whisk this in just really quick because it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when working with such thick trace and such a large batch. This is a gorgeous thick trace. You can see it's holding peaks beautifully. And now, ready to pour. Beautiful. Got some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous texture. I'm going to use my scraper tool here, my spatula, just to get all the soap out. And then we'll pound this on the counter and make sure that we get all of it in pretty evenly before we put our dividers in and before we put our top color on. And now we'll just shake it, shimmy it around. And then it is time for design work. This is some of my favorite stuff to do. I love design work. So this actually is really cool looking. So you can kind of just go back and forth. We're trying to get really interesting patterns and shapes to stay. And you'll notice that this trace is really thick, so it's sticking around. If you're working in a hot, humid environment, or you didn't get trace nearly this thick, you might notice that your peaks and valleys are not quite as peaky and valley-y as mine. So just keep working with it and you will have some beautiful texture once your soap thickens up. So now I am going to take a little bit of, I'm gonna go with the gold. This was the Ultra Sparkle Gold from Brambleberry, and just sprinkle this all the way. Oof, gorgeous. This would be perfect for any sort of spring bridal shower or wedding or a more unisex baby shower. Now I'm going to take my divider set, hold it from the sides. You don't want the divider to fall in. And you just put it directly in. And I've already have my silicone liner in these Birchwood molds. So that'll help the soap release easily. And I'm going to gently push down evenly, kind of trying to stay away with my fingers. We want this soap to kind of be tall because we do want to cut this 3 ways. So we want those bars to be nice and chunky. So these are good and tall. Go right over the dividers, and I'm pressing the dividers into the bottom. So that way we make sure we have individual bars of soap. Then from here, we can spray with 99% rubbing alcohol to make sure that we end up with very little soda ash. That's so pretty. So made this batch just a few days ago, and it's pretty easy to pop out. Once you get the silicone liner popped out, you just let gravity do the work, gently pull away. If it's not coming off easily and it's starting to tear, that's your sign that you need another couple of days. So here we have our entire batch. It's upside down. I'm going to carefully just put it up on its side. And then this is still a little soft because it's just a couple days old. Now we just have to get the dividers out. So one of the ways I like to do that is just putting this on a corner and gently pressing down from the top. And then the first bars will start popping out really easy. And once the first few bars are out of your divider, then you'll be able to get the rest of the dividers out really easily. And then from there, we can go ahead and cut our bars of soap. You do want to cut your bars of soap when they're fresh. So like within about the first 2 to 3 days to make sure that they cut easily and cleanly. With the dividers, you never want to pull and make the sides tear. You're always wanting to be kind of sliding to make sure that the smoothness on the sides of the bars sticks around. All right, now we have all 18 bars out, and you notice they are all beautiful. That sodium lactate really did the trick. And it's time to cut. So I'll be able to cut each of these bars into 3 pieces. So I'll have 54 bars in the end. One of the things I love about using rice bran as one of the base oils is it stays soft for longer. It doesn't kind of do that thing where it shears or gets too hard. So these bars of soap are cutting beautifully because 1, they're fresh, but 2, the recipe I used had a lot of rice bran oil in it. And so they stay really, really nice and soft for longer. They do harden up beautifully though. These bars have great lather. They're mild and they have good cleansing ability after a good 4 to 6 week cure time. That 4 to 6 week cure time is really nice because it helps the excess water evaporate out and it helps the soap get to its maximum gentleness. All right, now that these are all cut, wow, this makes a lot of bars. I'm excited to get packaging and make them very cute for giving away or for favors. And now is where your creativity really shines. There's a lot of different options for packaging this. Of course, we have the free downloadable labels at brambleberry.com that you come in a full sheet, you just cut, and they're really cute. They say from the bride shower to yours. You could, of course, be really getting creative with some sort of burlap or some ribbon. And of course, if you want to just put this just like this with no labels and a little handmade sign that says, hey, handmade soap, please take one. Just do some little bags right there. And these are ready to use, give away, sell, and make people happy. Well, I hope this gave you a little bit of inspiration for making your party or a loved one's really special. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. Of course, subscribe to the channel so you are notified each and every time we come out with a video. And when you make this, I would love to see it online. Hashtag it #BreatheAlong on all the social, and we'll be sure to look it up, get inspired, and maybe shout you out. Until next time, happy soaping.